Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys have been following some of our videos that we put out, you know that we've recently traded in our white Rubicon Unlimited with the 4 doors, and we picked up a Ram 1500, and that is currently in the dealership right now getting the spray and bed liner installed. But that gave us an opportunity to get this for a day. So I wanted to take this opportunity to go ahead and do a quick review of this Jeep. This is a Stingray Rubicon. It is the 2-door. It has the plastic bumper. We'll go over the features of this. Of course, the Rubicon lettering and the badging with the red accents looks fantastic on the Stingray, I guess it is. Again, this is with our friends over at Benson. I can only recommend them enough. They're fantastic. You guys should go out and check them out if you're in the market for a Jeep. The Rubicon, of course, comes with the KO2s. You have the Dana 44s in there. We'll jump inside of this and show you some of the features in here that this has in contrast to the Moab. The Moab, of course, has the metal bumper and all that stuff. But if you guys want to see more about the Moab, you can go ahead. I'll try and put a link up here to that video for you guys, but I won't spend too much time doing back and forth on that. So again, being a Rubicon, you have the red dash in here. This Rubicon, all Rubicons come with the sway bar, front locker, rear locker. This one has the winter package, so you have the heated seats, the heated steering wheel. Of course, it has an 8.4-inch screen in here. This is a 2.0 with the turbo. This Rubicon does not have the headliners, but it does have the 3-piece color match top. And being that it is a 2-door, you have the seats in the back, the smaller seats, but you don't have the bench on here like you do on the 4 doors, but your cup holders are down here, so that's a slight difference. Of course, all of this is the same as the other Rubicons. The front mount in here. This is the automatic, of course. And come around the back. In the back here, you have the bag for your Freedom top panels, and then the subwoofer in here. So here are the Maroni for this particular Jeep. So I'll give you guys a view of that. You can see that this is listed as 51.5 for this particular Jeep. Of course, this has, as we covered, the leather. It has the cold weather package, the trailer tow grip with the harness up front. It has the 700 amp LED package on it. It has the daytime running accents. It has the 8.4 screen we covered, the 8-speed hill descent, tip start, 2.0 liter turbo, proximity, which is a must-have in my opinion, the color match, the color fenders, and it also has, well, the storage bag for the tops, as we covered. So it's a fairly well equipped version of this. For those who don't have a 2-door, one of the nice features is this rear seat. You can set that thing back. You can even pull this thing out if you want. It's really convenient to use. And the headrest goes down when you do that. So some of the nice features of this particular Jeep. Now, let's take a look at that 2.0 liter. So this thing, the whole reason why I wanted to get a chance to take a look at this is because of this motor. I've heard people raving about it. So I wanted to get a chance to drive one of these. And I also wanted to get a chance to drive the 2-door because I hadn't done that before. So now this gave me an opportunity to do all that. If I can get this to open. So here's the little baby 2-liter engine that's in here. Now, I've got to tell you, who doesn't love a turbo whine? And this thing's got a little bit of a whine. You can hear it. And I'll try to capture some of that for you guys. But, you know, I thought there would be maybe a little bit of lag, you know, all the things you hear about turbos, this and that. But really, there is no lag. This thing's peppy. You touch the gas and it wants to go. It jumps up on you. It's actually a great little driver. So I'll try and get some of that video of this thing driving and include that in this clip here, so you guys can see that. But it's really the biggest experience, the biggest difference is really the length of the vehicle. Being that it's a shorter vehicle, it's not as long as the 4-door Unlimited is. It does have a shorter turning ratio because of that, so you can turn in and out of things real easily. It's much more maneuverable. It's actually a lot of fun to drive, but you have to be a lot more conscientious when you're going around corners. Now, coming from the sports car world, I tend to want to fly around corners all the time, so I have to be careful about that in this particular Jeep, because it does want to roll over on you. At least it feels like it. Maybe it's not really going to do that as much as you would think. So I'll go ahead and give this thing a cold start for you guys, because you've got to hear this. This is the one Jeep, in my opinion, that does not sound like a Jeep. It sounds sort of like a little Toyota. If you listen, you can hear that like every Toyota I've ever driven. Yeah, I know it's a 4-cylinder little engine, and those tend to have that sound, but it kind of cracks me up. See if I can give it a rev, if you can hear that turbo. I don't know if it'll do it. So I'll get some driving footage for you guys, and we'll see if we can get some turbo noises for you. If you guys noticed from that, I obviously placed the camera in a bad spot for capturing any of the engine noise. So all you catch is a whole bunch of static from the wind noise blowing on the camera. So I apologize for that. I'm going to cut this driving scene a little bit short so I can give you a wrap up here at the end. But you do hear the turbo whine when you're driving this down the street. You can hear it spool up as you accelerate down, and you can hear a little bit of a blow off. You kind of heard it in the rev prior to the driving scene here. So I hope that was enough for you guys. Again, I apologize, but I know you guys don't want to sit here and listen to a whole bunch of white noise from the wind blowing on the mic of the GoPro. So sorry about that, but here at the end of this little clip portion here, you're going to hear it revving in the parking deck. You can hear it spool a little bit. So again, sorry about that. But I'll wrap up this video after the sound clip from the garage. Alright guys, now that I've had a chance to actually drive this to and from work, I wanted to give you my final word on it, my final comments. And I guess I covered most of this already, but one of the big things for me is this metal bumper, not having a metal bumper. Now that's nice. If you're going to put a winch on it though, it presents a problem. You can always get the winch conversion kit and swap that out and put that on there. But that swap is about 300 bucks, 250 to 300 depending on where you look for it. You still have the plastic back here. But if you're going to spend 300 bucks, that's a good portion of the way towards your doing an aftermarket metal bumper. So you have to make a decision on whether or not you want to do an aftermarket bumper on here, or if you're content with getting a metal bumper. So for this Jeep itself, I would probably take it the way it is and put on an aftermarket bumper anyway, so that wouldn't stop me. As far as any of the interior features that this has or doesn't have, I'm actually really happy with it the way it is. I wouldn't add anything to it. I like having the winter features in here, and the auxiliary buttons, of course. So this setup is actually really good for me. The one thing that I would knock is it has the rug mats. It does not have the rubber mats in there. The rubber mats, for me, I think it's worth the extra couple of bucks to get that. So just a personal preference on that. The fenders, I might go with just the plastic fenders, because I would probably end up swapping these out for some aftermarket fenders anyway. But again, that's just my personal opinion on that. So to each their own. But one of the biggest differences that I notice on this Jeep is actually the Jeep itself. Its stance, being a two-wheel or two-door Jeep, it's shorter. So what that does is it causes the Jeep to handle a good bit differently. So your handling on this is awesome as far as turning radius and being able to get in and out of small parking spots and doing other various maneuverability things. So the shorter wheel span really helps that, and it's a noticeable difference from the four-door, my Moab. Yeah, I mean, the Moab I think turns great, but this thing you can turn on a dime, pull in and out of parking spots, and get turned around in tight spots out on a trail or something to that extent would be amazing on this. So what that brings to mind for me is, like everybody else, I'm excited about the Gladiator. The Gladiator is even longer yet than, say, the four-door Jeep is. So it's going to turn even wider, I would think, unless they've changed the ratio up front. So just something to think about for you guys. Those are my final comments. I love this thing. It rides just like my wife's four-door did before she turned it in. So you got that stiffer Rubicon ride. It's a little bumpier, but I mean, it's not that bad. This thing's incredibly quiet. When I was driving it to work though, I love that little whistling sound you get from the turbo. Of course, I would want to put some kind of cold air on there, make that turbo sound a little bit louder, because you got to love that turbo sound. It's just great. But I mean, all in all, it's a fantastic Jeep, and I'm really happy with the way it rides, the way it drives, the handling maneuverability of it. It's a little bouncier than the Moab is. The Moab's much more luxury, but this thing is fun. This is a lot of fun, and you know, who knows, maybe Jeep number 5 is going to be a two-door. I'm thinking that's going to be the case when I get around to number 5. So those are my final thoughts on this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please make sure that you hit the bell for the most recent updates. Follow us. You can follow us on Instagram at Quick Shifts, and see what's going on, get the latest and greatest feed there. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one.